Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Thermomixing Adventures. My name is Lisa Keegan, and this week has been budget week about making amazing food in your Thermomix, regardless of which model, while sticking to a budget. All these menu items have been $10. Occasionally, I think one was $15 to make the entire thing, but all the others have been under $10 to serve a family of 6. So pretty amazing value there, and savings at the checkout when you've got a Thermomix on the bench. Now today we're finishing up with tuna mornay. However, my kids much prefer salmon. So I'm going to show you today how to change this into salmon as well. It is a cookie dough recipe, as have all of them this week. So you can find them on your cookiedough.com.au. But as usual, if you can't find it, just reach out. I'd love to help you find it. So let's get started with this recipe. I actually really love this recipe because it's going to teach us an awesome skill of cooking pasta in a Thermoserver. Now I've got my white Thermoserver. You can use your silvers. I know some of you have a black one coming this way. You can use those to do it. It doesn't matter which one. However, a circle one, I find, in my opinion, is much better for this, the cooking of pasta and rice, than your oval does. I think it's because you've got your volume going up, not outwards on the sides. So this first part of the recipe, we're actually going to cook gluten-free pasta in a Thermoserver. Now you could do glutinous pasta, that is perfectly fine. You can do rice even in a Thermoserver, did you know? And I'm going to give some tips for that. So I'd love to know in the chat today, when you're watching on, do say hi. Have you used a Thermoserver to make your pasta or your rice cook? Let me know, I would love to know. And have you had it work or not work? Because there are some tips to making sure it works. So when I start this recipe, it says to preheat my oven and grease the tray. We won't worry about that at the moment. Place a thermal serving bowl or other large bowl onto the mixing bowl lid. So we're going to weigh using this. Now, I have actually preheated mine. So in here, we've got some boiling water already, and I've literally just had the kettle stop boiling. All right, so it needs to be boiling water to make this work. It's like if you were doing it traditionally on a stovetop. If it's not boiling, it's going to go to mush. So I have preheated it to the point that I can feel it. It's a little bit warm now. So I've boiled the kettle. I put a centimetre of water in here. I've put the lid on. Now, by the way, I've got a black lid on a white Thermoserver. Doesn't really matter. But I put the lid on. And then I refilled the jug up. I put it to the boil again. And then I've come live to share this with you because you need to preheat it. Stainless steel by nature is cold, so if you put boiling water in there, it's going to drop down to 90, 85 degrees, and it's not going to be cold enough, hot enough, wrong way. It's not going to be remaining boiling. So it says to place this on top, and then it wants us to weigh things into it. However, I've got that water in there. So my first tip, which is a little different to this recipe, is preheat your Thermoserver. A bit like if you wanted to take ice cream to the park and keep it cold, you would pre-chill it in the freezer first. If you want to keep things hot and boiling, preheat it first. So in here, I've got that little bit of boiling water. It's only a centimetre. You can see how piping warm it is. I'm just going to tip it aside into a spare container. I'm going to put it on top, and then I'm going to do what the recipe says, which is weigh into it 300 grams of panini pasta. Now you might notice I've sped up. I do not want this to lose its heat too much. So excuse the noise, but in goes 300 grams of pasta. And as I said, I'm using GF pasta. And then it says place the bowl with the pasta. Now I'm just getting my boiling water. I'm getting my kettle and cover with boiling water. Now it doesn't say how much boiling water, and it is kind of important. You need enough water in there for the pasta to be covered and absorb in. And you need a fair bit. If you're doing rice, you actually need double the volume. So if you're rice, and I normally do my rice in my simmering basket, but if you're doing pasta, you do need to make sure it's double the height. So my pasta takes up about that much space in my Thermoserver. I need to get this lid on super quick. There we go. I do need to give it a stir though. All right, so I'm just going to take another quick sneak because otherwise they stick together. I've learned that lesson a few times. And there we go. On that lid goes. Now, the trick is here. You've seen a few tricks already, but the trick is now to not disturb it. It needs that 12 to 15 minutes as per the packet says that it takes to cook to actually absorb in and continue to boil in there. If I peak, every time I peak, it's going to lose 5 or 7 degrees, 10 degrees, and it's just going to lose that boil. So we literally put it aside until that 12 to 15 minute mark, which is probably about the time our thermi is going to be done anyway. All right, so there are my first tips for cooking pasta and rice in a Thermoserver. They are perfect. I will come back another day and show you rice because there are some tips, and I love making rice as much as you can do it exactly like that, where you put the rice in the Thermoserver. I like doing it in the simmering basket because then I can lift the whole basket out and put it aside. So I'll show you that one day. All right, stir this pasta and then cover and set aside. Done that. And it says to stir it once or twice. Don't stir it, okay? First tip of the day, second, third, fourth tip of the day, do not stir it. Leave that lid on. We've stirred it already, that's it. Hello, Martina, and hello, Vicky. Lovely to have you on this afternoon. All right, so now we're getting on with our Thermi part of the recipe. So into here goes 200 grams of tasty cheese, cut into pieces. So about the size of your dial, okay, on the side. I know you can't see very well, my webcam's in the way, but it's about that size. I don't know if I've got 200 grams, but the next thing I've also got is some parsley from the garden because our next step says 6 sprigs of parsley. Okay, so I'm just going to guesstimate. I didn't bring the scales up for that. 200 grams, okay? Close enough's good enough. Insert the measuring cup, and now it's got 3 seconds. Speed night, it's going to dice this down. Okay, that's so quick. How cool is that? Grating cheese in the Thermomix, so simple, and a real cost-effective way to do it. We never buy grated cheese. We buy the block of mozzarella if we need mozzarella, or we make it ourselves. Have you seen how you can make it? It's really amazing. Or we buy the block of Tasty and we grate it down, same with Parmesan. And you guys have seen earlier in the week how I freeze it in the reusable silicone bags and just have it ready to go as we need. So, chopped down and ready to go. So now it says transfer 100 grams aside, which we put in 200, so I'm going to guesstimate. And I'm going to go, yeah, just guess. Yeah, that looks about right. Now, I'm making this low gluten. It's not going to be completely gluten-free. Place that aside. Probably not on the top of the hot Thermoserver though, it'll melt. And ask for panko breadcrumbs. Now, breadcrumbs, not GF. However, if you've made a GF loaf, you could of course use the crust from your loaf. I haven't. My substitution is oats. We can do some oats here at our house. So I'm going to use oats instead of breadcrumbs. And it's 60 grams of that. In it goes. And this is our topping at the end on top of our beautiful dish here. So on with the lid, and it's just going to stir through for a moment. It's got 5 seconds reverse speed 4. So up that goes, and we'll just listen to it stir through. Just took that opportunity to get the oat container back in the cupboard, and that's the beauty of Thermomix cooking. It does give you those times to just dash away because it's going to stop at the end of a step. How cool is that? Transfer the mixture aside. So you'll need another bowl to do that, and that's your topping done. Now, if you want your oats finer, of course, chop them down further. You could even do a seed mix or a nut mix in there, I reckon, but you'd want to chop it down finer, but that'll do us. All right, now, next up. Love to know in the chat, has anyone made this recipe before, or is this brand new to you too? Because it is brand new to us as well. I don't think my kids have ever actually had this before, so I'm excited to see if they'll eat it. Last night was a very pleasant surprise with the dal. I can highly recommend the coconut and spinach dal. 5 out of 6 kids. And it's the one that doesn't like muffins and cakes and biscuits and stuff. Not that we have them very often, but he's the one who was very reluctant to have it. And thankfully the 9-year-old had made dessert, so that was the eat the dinner to get the dessert, and it worked. But yeah, 5 out of 6 really enjoyed last night's dal. So I can highly suggest, if you've never tried dal before, which I had not, give it a go. Tell me what you think. And you'll see I swapped out chili as well for paprika. So give that a go if you don't eat hot stuff like we don't. Okay, dry the bowl. Do not dry the mixing bowl. Oh, thank goodness for that. Now, 1 brown onion cut into halves. So I've got the leftovers from that dal, which was quite a large one. 2 cloves of garlic. Garlic paste it is for us at the moment. In that goes. So that's 2 teaspoonfuls in. Next, some butter. I'm not going to do butter. I'm actually going to do oil just to keep it dairy free. It does have cheese in it, which will be enough for us at night time. Whoa, that was a bit heavy. My lid popped off the thing. That'll do 30 grams. And then insert the measuring cup. So what we're going to do now is we're actually making kind of a white sauce, really, is what we're doing here. So you'll see here now, it's going to chop. So we've got 5 seconds, speed 7. You can hear that was done a little early, probably because I had the garlic paste rather than the garlic clove, so it actually was done quite early. You could have stopped it early. Keep the measuring cup inserted, then 3 minutes for Roma speed 1. Now, this is your time to prep the rest of the ingredients for this recipe. Now, and if you haven't already, this is the time to put on your oven, put your stuff away from earlier, put your chopping board in the dishwasher, that sort of stuff. What I'm going to do is actually drain all my next ingredients. So in this recipe, I've got a few things happening. We have corn kernels. Now, these all need to be drained. I don't think it says rinsed. No, I don't think it says rinsed. It's all good. I think we just drain them. So I'm going to drain my corn. Now, it's just bought corn. Our corn, we have had fresh corn lately on the veggie patch, but no, it's bought corn. Hoping my kids eat it. I'm not sure they've ever had bought corn ever, so I'm hoping they eat it. Let me just check what else I need. Oh, so you know how I said we're making a white sauce? The next step is plain flour. I'll be using GF. Some milk. I'm going to use almond milk, and then it's going to cook after a blend for a moment. And then we've got 425 grams of canned tuna drained. So this is where I'm going to use some canned salmon instead. Then it's got the sweet corn kernels drained, which I've just drained. And then it's got some creamed corn, which I'm actually really curious to know if there's a recipe for. I would love to give a go at making, when we got our corn back on and the veggie patch, I'd love to give a go to making this stuff. So it does have a thickener in it. It's got some sugar and salt. So I'm curious to, see if I can make this so that it's got nothing extra, no numbers in it. That's what I love doing, is trying to clean up foods where I can for the family. And anyway, last thing is my salmon. So I'm just going to drain that in here as well while this is cooking. So these are the things you can be doing as you cook along to these videos. So being a Friday night, guys, and those of you in Queensland, we got a long weekend. What are you doing? What are you making for dinner tonight? I'd love to know what you're making. I'm having trouble. This is not coming out. I need another hand. So yeah, what's for dinner at your place this evening? Have you got it planned? Do you know what you're having? I'd love to know in the chat. Let's inspire each other. All right, here comes the salmon. Out it comes. There we go. So, look at that, bones and all. There's some good calcium for you. You can see I don't eat tinned salmon very often, don't you? Anyway, I'm sure that'll blend up and all be soft in there. Oh, hug in a mug chicken soup. That sounds delicious. I haven't done that since last winter. I'm sure it's going to be on the menu again. All right. It's got 20 seconds, so we might just hang tight and I will show you the next step. While that's happening, if you don't have a Thermoserver, how can you get one? You can host a demonstration online with 2 friends, watch me cook, or if you've got a Thermomix, you can actually cook at the same time and cook along, or you can have your friends to your house and cook with them and cook along if you'd like, and that'll actually unlock the host rewards for you. You can get it discounted, or you can get it free if a friend is ready to purchase. As a lot of you would know, there is also the bowl blade and lid on that host reward catalog. That's the word I'm after. It's been a long, short week. Collection. So the bowl blade and lid set, normally $375 for a TM6, a little bit cheaper for the 5 and the 31. That's on the catalog as well at the moment. So do reach out if you do want to get yourself a second bowl set discounted for your Thermomix. I'd love to demo with you. All right, so let's go on to the next step. So we've cooked off that beautiful garlic and onion, made it nice and sweet. And now we're going to add flour. So as I made mention, 2 tablespoons of, and I'm using gluten-free. So, and you guys know how I roll. I'm just going to have a look and see how it looks in there. 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, that's about right. Oh, pork san chow bao, yum, that sounds delicious too. Haven't had that in a while either. See, I love that with the Thermomix, there is always so many more recipes at our fingertips that we'll never get bored. Like I don't know that I've ever made this. Yesterday's one, I had never made. And 8.5 years owning a Thermomix, 8.5 years as a consultant, if there's new recipes I can find and inspire you with, there's always more. And I love that. And it fills my cup to know that you guys find these videos helpful and you do get inspired and you try new recipes. Because who wants to make the same thing 7 days a week, really? Especially when you go Thermomix, it makes it easy. Okay, 350 grams of milk. So I told you almond milk is what I'm putting into this to keep it a little bit more dairy free. So 350 grams. There we go, 360 something, that's close enough. Next, insert the measuring cup, and it's going to be a bit of a stir and then a bit of a cook off. So as I said, white sauce is really what this is. So if you currently make a white sauce on the stove top, there is no need to with a Thermomix. I'll just wait for it to stop. There we go. So a Thermomix makes making a white sauce so incredibly easy. It will be lump-free, it'll be smooth and silky, and there's no standing at a stove babysitting. How cool is that? Like, that's just the cream of the crop, that you don't have to be at a stove while the life's going on around you and you'd rather be doing something else. You could actually let it do your white sauce and go off and do something else. All right, we're coming to the end of this recipe. So this is going to cook and make a white sauce in 6 minutes. How easy is that? Then we've got our canned stuff in, the 3 ingredients here. Then we've got some paprika. It's only a smidgen of paprika. Now we use sweet paprika, but you could use smoky if you like. It's totally up to you. Then there's some salt, and I am going to stick to the recipe and use salt instead of stock. I have used stock in the past, but not for this. So I'm going to keep it to a line, but you might see me back in a couple of months' time making it again, and I'll probably put stock into it. Some pepper, and then some lemon juice. I probably won't because I haven't got lemons at the moment. And then all it does is it stirs through, and we put it then, we stir, actually, it says to transfer to the bowl with the cheese. Do you think I'm going to do that? If you think like me in a kitchen, you'll actually be putting the cheese in with the salmon mix. Okay, so don't transfer this out, transfer the cheese in, and then repeat the previous step. Okay, repeat the reverse speed for a couple of seconds to mix that cheese through. And then we're going to drain the pasta, and then we're going to, what's it say? Let me mix that. And then it wants to combine that as well. Now I will be doing my best bet to actually try and put my pasta in with the mix. I'm not going to try and hand do it out on the side. I'm going to see if it fits. If it fits, it fits. I'll see how I go. Then all that mix goes into your casserole dish, and you top with your leftover cheese, the cheese and breadcrumb mix. You can hear it's thickening. Can you guys hear that? You can hear the slap, slap, slap. It's quite thick in there. And then it's going to bake for 20 to 25 minutes. How simple is that? So it's actually really, really simple. It will not take you long to make in your Thermomix. And no lumps in your white sauce. How cool is that? I actually am really, really tempted to stop this step early because I can hear that's thickened. So this does not have the thickening mode inbuilt. So on our TM, we actually have, just going to show you something. We've got our thickening mode over here. All right. Now, our thickening mode is intuitive. It realizes when it's thickening and it stops. It'll stop earlier. You'll see the timer will go like 12, and then it'll go 11, 10, and then it'll go 7, it'll go 5, it'll go 3, and then it'll go 1, and it doesn't do the ones in between because it's realizing that it's actually thick. It's working on that friction in there. When we've got a guided recipe like this, it's not. It's purely picking up the fact that I told it, well, it told itself to cook for a certain time. So I could hear that that was slapping the sides and it was thick. I'm going to pick up the camera and show you what the texture looks like because it's beautiful. It's what you'd put on a lasagna. Look at that. Or in your potatoes. Where's a spatula to show you that thickness? So, look at this. Look at that. Now you can see it's got the onion and garlic into there, but that's beautiful. That's what I'm wanting. Sorry, it's a bit cloudy in there. It's, what's that called? Yeah, can't remember. It's been a long week. All right, so to get back to my recipe, there's a little bookmark here at the back there. It'll just take me to the step I'm on. So I actually didn't need that full time on there. And now here is all our bits and pieces, our drained bits and pieces. Do make sure they're drained, otherwise they're going to be, thick. It's not, I think it's thin. Wrong way. Oh my goodness. Time to turn off the camera when I'm putting my words back to front. In that goes. So that was both the corn and the salmon. Then our cream corn. And you can just see how easy this is. Like even on a Friday night, to throw this together in a matter of 5 minutes is super duper easy. So that's the ease a Thermomix brings. If you'd like a demo because you've got questions about what a Thermomix does, how it might help you in the kitchen, you're wondering can it make something that you particularly want to know, then I'm happy to do that too. So don't be scared to reach out. If you're curious and going, oh, I don't know, is it for me, is it not? I've heard about it. I'm more than happy to jump online and actually show you and answer your questions, all right? Here is our paprika. I think I've used all my spoons. So I might just have to pinch some out. So this is 1/4 teaspoon. I'm actually looking at the top, guys, and you know how I said before that I'd squeeze the pasta in the top? It's not going to fit, all right? I would love it to fit, but it's not going to. So what I'll have to do is what I'll probably do is put it in my casserole dish and stir it in my casserole dish. I'll mix it in together in that step. So here we go, pepper. I'm going to show you the finish off of this because we're so close to the end. So 5 seconds, reverse, speed 4, and off that goes. Just put this aside. And that's stirring all through beautifully. And now I've got my 2 bits at the beginning. So I've got the breadcrumb mix with the cheese, which is oats and cheese, and I've got the cheese. So let's have a look. Transfer into the bowl with the cheese and parsley mixture. So it's not the oat mix, it's the other one, but I'll just show you the volume in here. This is going to serve a fair amount. When you think about 300 grams of pasta cooked and that amount, which is over 1 litre, it's got a fair amount of food in there. So that's exciting. Feeding a family of 6. I love it when I can find a recipe that everybody can eat, hopefully eats. So anyway, in with this cheese that actually they said to go the other way with. Next. No, actually not next, back step. We're going to go back 1 step because it's going to then repeat that step for me. Next. Oh, let's go that way. That's what I was trying to do. And just trying to figure out how long I've been live for today. Normally my screen tells me. But what we're going to do is I don't actually know how long that pasta's been cooking for. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and I'm not going to combine it together yet. However, what I will do later is I will have my casserole dish. I will put my drained pasta, which I'll use that same simmering basket to drain. I'll put the pasta in the casserole dish once it's drained. I'll pour this over the top and I'll use my spatula to stir it. I do not like creating more washing up if I don't need to. So that'll be my shortcut to actually do that. Then we top it with our panko oat mix and we put it in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes and serve it when it's done. So it's as simple as that to make amazing food in your Thermomix. Now I'm going to wrap it up tonight. Let me know if I can support you with anything with your Thermomix. That's what I'm here for and that's what I love. I love making sure you guys are getting the most out of your Thermomix and supporting you to do so. So if you do have questions, if there's something you'd like me to show you, do a video on, those sorts of things, I do love to hear from you. So don't ever hesitate. Don't be strangers, reach out. So otherwise guys, take care. Enjoy the long weekend if you've got one. I will be back Monday afternoon to do some more recipes with you and inspire you to get more out of your Thermomix. So take care and also let me know if you'd like a demonstration. I always love sharing my Thermomix passion with you and your people around you because life is so much easier when you've got one of these on the bench. So who do you know who needs to know that? So take care and I'll see you next week. Bye for now, guys.